So Matt Walsh said, I said Ariel for Little Mermaid should be played by someone with translucent skin like a real deep fish, real deep sea fish. And thousands of leftists took me serious and they're calling me racist because of it. I'm actually being accused of harboring racial favoritism for translucent people. I love it. This is great. And I think he seriously does. He's a troll. He's a living, breathing troll farm. But I don't think he expected that response. I mean, it's kind of a stupid, it's not even like one of the better takes I've seen of it. And it's just because it's Matt Walsh, it's blowing up. He has 1 million followers now. So this person says a mermaid is not real. It's scientifically impossible. Well, you could CGI it. I don't even understand what is that? What are we doing? It's totally fictional. Yes, you are a racist and you love being one. Guys, I feel like Eric July in some of his streams now, he literally falls asleep. He reads this stuff from these woke idiots and he's like, y'all boring me to death with this stuff. Like racist. Do you think that term means anything to anybody anymore? It doesn't mean anything. Says, yes, you are racist and you love being one. Just embrace the title. You already embraced the label. Wear it proud. He's wearing it proud. I think he's proud about it. Steve Bannon was like, you call me Ray. What? Steve Bannon, this was years ago. This might even be before Trump. He's like, you call me racist. Okay, I am. Fine. like, let's move on. It doesn't mean anything. You don't talk about any substance. You don't back it up. And I like Eric July's approach is like, I don't defend myself on it. Just do whatever. It's so ridiculous. I don't defend why would I defend something so ridiculous? When you defend it, you actually give them ammo. I'm going to take it to Uncle Hotep. And Uncle Hotep, I don't, not against Uncle Hotep. I'm just talking about the comment that he made. I mean, Uncle Hotep is that dude. So I'm not looking to be like a negative towards him or attacking him or anything like that. Just disagree on this take here. And maybe it's Twitter. So maybe I'm misinterpreting it and he might not, he might actually agree with me. Who knows? But Uncle Hotep tweeted, he said, getting excited and getting mad about the skin color of a mermaid are both equally dumb. Turn the TV off. And I didn't fully understand where he was going with that. So I'm like, well, what does that mean? Well, I'm like, okay, I guess if you're mad just because of the race I couldn't care less. So if you look at it, I couldn't care less about the skin color of the lead character in a fictional story like that. When you look at it, but it's not that simple, Unc, and you know that. Unc, the same people that would put raccoon gifts in your replies are the same people that celebrate or ignore this race swapping stuff, which, let's be real about what's happening. It is erasing white people. That's what it is. We're not at the point yet where you're race swapping black people. And when that happens, that will be to more intersectionality. You're not going to see, I mean, we've seen it before, but you're not going to see a push like we're seeing now to erase black people. What happens is you add a layer of intersectionality. So hypothetically, you erase all the white people, at least the straight white people. You can turn a white character to a LGBTQ as long as you add an identity to it. Poison Ivy, one of my favorite villains ever, Poison Ivy in Batman. They recently, in one of the comic books, made her a little overweight. That's fine. I'm overweight. I have a problem with it. But that they're using the weight as a intersectionality. And then if you make her bi or lesbian, that's another piece of intersectionality, which doesn't mean the story is going to be bad, but you're adding on layers. It can't just be a straight white fit female. It can't just be a straight white, like they're talking about James Bond. Maybe we need a race swap. Why do you need to race swap James Bond? Why? James Bond. I don't need the character to be the same race. I'm fine with representation. I'm not against that. But what they're doing is they're not taking new properties with some of this. They're taking the old historical characters, the fictional characters that are white, and swapping them. And then some people didn't understand that this is happening to historical people who historically were white have been swapped as black. Alexander Hamilton is probably the most famous of those, but there's multiple other ones. So I replied to that, and it was like the ideology behind erasing historically white characters is the same one that supports high school illiteracy. So in Baltimore, for example, the high school kids can't even read, but they're celebrating critical race theory, and that's what race swapping Ariel is. You feel the need to, you only see a black character being legitimate by taking down the mantle of a straight white male or a straight white female. That's literally what happened in there was a video that I've played before of critical race theory, and it's a video where they're showing like a race, and to start the race is a straight white male and a straight white female, and they get off to a head start, and then the other people are, oppressed people. So you take down the mantle of a straight white male. Any fictional character that was straight white male. Batman's in danger. Superman, they already made his son LGBTQ. It's not like the original Superman, but they made him. Miles Morales with Spider-Man. Every single straight white character in any, they took my boy Legolas and made him something else, and that's fine. But I'm just showing you that it's happening all over the place. So to me, it's worth a discussion if you're going to connect those dots. If you're just going to complain about it, then yeah, I agree with Hotep. But that's with anything. This topic isn't special. So somebody said these are not historical characters; these are fantasy characters that aren't even human. Number one, it still matters. If it's just fictional characters, then why not just leave them white? What point are you making? Hey, people on here are just not. They don't think through stuff very well. These are not historical characters. So what? If they're not historical characters, then just leave them white. Why does it matter? You're not making a point. But then, I was going to bring up some of these examples of white, like real historical characters, and I didn't get a reply because I like to do this to see, like, is it even worth trying to show you that you're wrong? No reply, which, whatever. But I also kind of went a little bit deeper with this. And a lot of people were agreeing, please turn the TV off. And I will say this. I will say turn the TV off if this stuff is becoming detrimental to your life. I was watching Ian Crossland, who I think is brilliant and underrated, famous obviously from Timcast IRL, and he was on with Jack Murphy. It was a great interview. And he brings this up a lot on the show and everywhere, but he said, I took the red pill and I was so far down the rabbit holes, and I saw this and I found out about the Federal Reserve and all these different things that are like, wow, you could see everything now. And he got to the point where he said, like, I almost wanted to unlive myself. And that's toxic. So I would say turn the TV off, go away. I do have another channel where I talk no politics. I only have so much time to upload, and I'm doing I'm not going to give out the channels, just too many channels. I'm going to do a website where I'm going to have all the videos, kind of like banned video. That's what I'm going to try and copy off of that. So I'll just say, go to the website. I might call it Middle MAGA. I want something that, even though it's kind of corny, it's easy to remember and say. But I'm working on that, and that you'll see stuff that's completely has nothing to do with politics. Got to balance it out. If I feel like it's becoming negative, and I've talked to some people in real life, nobody online, but I was like, I don't want to get you down. That's not the goal here. They want you demoralized, I am not going to be demoralized. That's why I like listening to Is Salty Army still here? I know this is late night and I'm just rambling. If anybody is in the chat from Salty, I love that dude, because I go to his channel and he's talking trash. He's uplifting. He mocks these people. Alex Stein, you laugh at these people. And if I feel like I want to see politics and I want to be uplifted, I'm in Salty Army's chat. Love um, that chat because he's uplifting, in my opinion. So the people liked it, but I was like, Uncle Hotep is that dude, but I'm disappointed with him over this one. If our entertainment industry is willing to race swap fictional and historical figures, but who cares? Say there's not that many historical, because I can only think of a handful. Let's just keep it on fictional. Okay. If they're willing to race swap a fictional character, like you had Batwoman, this TV series is a black and lesbian, like damn. And if they're willing to do that, the natural question is why? Why are they doing that? I need an answer to that. No one's going to give you an answer. There's no one person to go to for an answer, but that's okay. If you say that it's not worth talking about, and I'm silly talking about Ariel being black, and I don't care. I'm going to talk about that in a second. I don't care that she's black in a way it's worth talking about, and I'm going to explain that. But the question is why? When you dig for that answer, you start to understand why people are concerned, like myself. Unc knows this as better than anybody. Unc, tell me why they're swapping out white people. Why are they doing it? So Raquel Russell, who's great on Twitter, I'll shout out to her, said, okay, but swapping historical characters versus swapping fictional hits me different. I respect that, but disagree. Swapping for historical fiction is sometimes sketchy. Too, always good to consider whose history are they erasing. Swapping the race of a historical character is inexcusable, period, for me. I don't want any part of anything where you're race swapping a real historical character. Does that make any sense? Do you want to see a white George Floyd? What the hell does that? No, they wouldn't do it that way. But do you want to see a white Martin Luther King Jr.? Does that make any sense? No. It doesn't make sense on any case. Here's what I mean. On a micro level, so on a small level, just like to watch a movie, I couldn't care less if Ariel's black, whatever race, color, I don't care. Could be a cartoon. We're talking about a cartoon, remember? So on the micro level, couldn't care. On a macro level, it's a whole different thing. That's when you start saying, okay, what's happening here? Their YouTube promo video for the movie got over 2 million downvotes. So your customer base tells you they don't want it. This is Disney. This isn't some guy in their basement like myself who's just doing this to get stuff off their chest. And hey, if you get downvoted, okay, making no money off of it. That's not the case. This is a business, a huge corporation. Over 2 million downvotes. And assuming that those are true, I don't think they're bots. Assuming that's true, nobody wants it. Nobody asked for it. So this is an example of force. That's what this is. This is Disney saying we will force this upon you. And if you're a libertarian, you should be concerned. Nobody wants it. Nobody asked for a black Ariel. Black people can look at a white Ariel and still enjoy a movie. There's plenty of black characters elsewhere. Make a different movie. That's perfectly fine. Start something. Wouldn't you want something fresh? That's embarrassing. That's absolutely embarrassing to rewrite. My wife is white. Could you imagine somebody rewriting our story with my wife being black? That's pretty much what they're doing, fictional or not. So they're trying to force something down our throats. And I said, Disney's approach is antithetical to free market principles. Free market principles are, I've got a business. I am going to make something for my consumers to maximize revenue. That's free market. That's number one in the free market. But now you're seeing all these different stuff. Like you even see on Shark Tank, it just represents the business world. But back in the day, nobody talked about, oh, what's your business social aspect? So then now these businesses, they'll make shoes and then they'll say, we'll give 10 cents to Africa or something like that, which is, I'm not saying it's bad, but that's not a free market principle. Well, they're trying to say we're a good company, come with us. But in a free market, you say, I'm a company, I'm making money. If we might donate to a cause or something like that, but we're not going to make that a part of our business plan. So it took that, which wasn't that bad, and now they took it to another level. That's the start of ESG. So that's how you can do a corporate credit score potentially. And to me, freeze out. I always look at Eric July, and he made $3 million on his comic book. I should be getting one, a couple soon. I can't wait to do reviews on it. But you could shut them out somehow. They are tracking gun purchases on certain credit card companies. Well, then why can't you track if somebody's a hate person or not? PayPal shuts down people because they think they're hateful. What? Who's deciding that? Didn't break any laws. That is not free market. ESG is not free market. The environmental, social, and government score, which is basically a social credit score for businesses. So this would be like a restaurant with ties to the deep state. And I say that because literally from 1940 until 1966, Walt Disney served as a secret informer for the Los Angeles office of the, wait for it, the FBI. So it would be like, I don't know if there's ties now currently, but they had ties from their founder. It's like a restaurant with ties to the deep state serving you a steak. So you're at a restaurant and the restaurant has ties to the FBI, the administrative state, maybe even the deep state. And they come out with your meal and it's a steak. The problem is you ask for a burger. After you tell them, I wanted a burger, I'm in the mood for a burger, the steak looks great. I have nothing against steaks. I asked for a burger though. After you tell them that, they label you a steak phobe. This is frightening. When you look at it from a macro level, what is happening is absolutely frightening. It is a frightening attempt at controlling a populace. So they try to control you. And then you say, especially if you're white, I mean, you say, well, I don't know if I really wanted that. Racist. What company would hire somebody who's a racist? If that is something that I talk about who cares, whatever, but you still have this danger of a stigma, hate speech. If you go for a job interview, you say you're using your real name online. Somebody could look up, oh, they didn't like Ariela's Little Mermaid. Or you look up, somebody called them racist. I'm good on hiring them. This is not sustainable, and it has to stop immediately. This is not a joke. This is not some frivolous thing. I know you can laugh about it and all this kind of stuff. When you look at it at a big macro level, it is very serious. This is control. This is an attempt at dominating somebody. So when you look at this on the surface, you see the race of a main character and you're like, who cares? A normie. Oh, what are you talking about? Who cares? But it's like you're taking the sewer cap off. So this surface level is above the sewer cap. And you're like, I want to look at what's under there. Or what's under there. What's the underneath thing? Why are we doing this? And you look under it and it's a bunch of bad guys and evil intent. That's what's happening. And then you say, well, I looked under there and I question if those are good guys or not. And I'm worried about if you open up the sewer cover and all these people come out, you're just hiding it behind this surface. Like you don't care about illiteracy in Baltimore, but you are fighting to the death for a black Ariel. And then now you're racist or you're not black. That quick. So I said on this as well, well, I can't find it now. I did a couple replies. YouTube used to let you see the downvotes. As a creator, you can go behind the scenes and see them, but they're not public anymore. YouTube started hiding that to me because they knew Joe Biden. They knew corporations were going to do things that people didn't ask for or want against the principles of free market. of a free market. So I think that is proof of a cover-up and intent. So they tried to hide behind it and say it's for the well-being of people. Nah, I'm not buying it. Does Joe Biden didn't do it for common people and leave it up for corporations and politicians? No, you could do that. I interpret that as a cover-up and proof of intent. You have to use a special program to see what the downvotes are. They know things will be forced upon people that they don't want. So when you go to that restaurant and you order a steak and you get a bag of crickets, it was funny when it was the race of a character. It's not so funny when you say, I want something else, and then they say, your social credit score is not good enough. You get a bag of crickets. Eat those crickets and maybe you'll get a better score in the future. I think it's intent. I think the cover-up is, to me, it proves intent.